Like I looked at it, like I was like, it's not about the money. No, it's not. I stayed sober in the dish pit for 8 months, and I let God bless me and lead me to where He went. But I'm unapologetic to my guys. Like this is something that I wanted. I wanted success. I wanted a ring on my finger. I wanted a child. I wanted all of these things. I wanted a healthy relationship. I wanted friends. I'm on a fucking podcast.
Yeah,
you know
dude,
what I'm
so
saying?
cool.
Like I wanted the whole thing. I didn't want part of it.
Welcome to another episode of the Powerless to Powerful Recovery podcast. My name is Jason. I'm an alcoholic and addict. As always, our mission is to share experience, strength, and hope across multiple media platforms, the story of addiction and the road to recovery. We're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous or any other 12-step based organizations or groups in any way, and we're back with the show. And as you can see, we got a special guest. We're going to get to him in a second, but I got to give my co-host, Ronnie, no matter what, a shout out. Everybody, all of our listeners all over the world, in your prayers. We got to have it for his dad's second heart surgery. He's on a flight to Rochester. Hopefully he doesn't get into that Genesee cream ale up there up north, and he'll be just fine. But big shout out. But special guest today on the show, we have Mark North, founder, CEO of Guiding Road, Recovery All-Star, member of the Knights of the Round Table. I mean, I'll pepper grind the shit out of you right now. All-Star in the recovery community, service commitment sponsees, and he's up at 4:30, and he's got the same Rubik's Cube in his mind of logistics, because that's what we do. We're in logistics.
Yeah.
We're managing logistics every day. But welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
Happy
being
to be
here.
here.
So tell us just first, just so all of our listeners, because what I love is having on other CEOs of other companies. Because when I first got in this industry in 2021, it was like, don't talk to them because they're competitors, or we can't have them in our building. We don't want them to see. And it was always like, why, dude? Like, why does it have to be that way? Every 4 minutes, someone dies from a fentanyl overdose in this country, and we're worried about
There's not going to be a
There's
surplus
no need for that.
of clients and people that need help.
So why don't you tell everyone about the PHP, the IOP, how many beds you have, just a little bit about Guiding Road, and then we'll get a little bit into your story.
Sure, thank you. So we are a 20-bed facility. We are located in Central to North Phoenix at Cave Creek and Cactus. It's Guiding Road Recovery Center. We offer PHP with housing, and it is mandatory, and then IOP with housing as well. And then we have sober living. So we got into the PHP space in that because we really wanted to lean on what we could do. Is we wanted to be able to incorporate the community as much as we could. That's where I found my success and my legs in recovery, was the community around me and the men that were able to walk alongside me in this journey. And so versus a residential, we just thought it more beneficial for us to go the PHP route and be able to offer those services.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so needed, because I look at desert recovery centers, and in 30 days at residential, big shout out to Johnny, the new director of client success. And I've literally put him into a position where as soon as they come in, they see him and he's coordinating discharge.
That's awesome.
Coordinating the next care. Because literally, as you know, we're advocates for these clients. We're fighting for days so they can get the help that they need.
Right.
And desert's only a residential, so we got to have a guiding road so we can get them to the next level so they can continue their connection and continue all those things.
Right.
I want to talk about the Knights just for a second. How long have you been a member of the Knights of the Round Table?
Since my sobriety date, 4/10/21.
All right. So the Knights do a whole bunch of phenomenal things, right? And they get some bad press sometimes because people don't really get it and they don't even understand, and they're just talking shit. So it's whatever. And I think
it's not everyone's cup of tea, for sure.
Because it's an invite-only type meeting, and that's usually the shit talking. You got to be invited to go. It's not open to everyone. Right. It's because they want motherfuckers that are serious about recovery, dude.
Sure.
And they help in such a capacity that's not even funny. Right. And so I want to share an experience with you. It was one of the men's that I finally got to make. Shout out to Johnny. So back in 2002, and also shout out Tony Marinucci, longtime member of the Knights, rest in peace, died from this addiction. And he tried his ass off to get me to be a part of the Knights, brought me to the meetings. I know how the meeting format is. You're in a group, then you break into small groups and you go over your day and you go over all this stuff. I went to some of the meetings and I went to a retreat, right?
How'd that go?
But the retreat wasn't my time, Mark. It wasn't my time. I was dope sick. Right. So I'm looking for value, anything of value. So, they do the different step studies. It's Sunday. We've been there for 2 days. Right. Everybody slips into the step 11 step study session. And I slip back into the huts and I'm just lerping through everybody's shit. I end up stealing some money out of some wallets from some of the members of the Knights, dude. and came back home, Oxycontins, prison time.
Did you
all
take
this
the
stuff.
whole wallet or just the cash?
Just the cash.
Okay, at least you left their ID.
Yeah,
you were a full
bro,
scumbag.
yeah. With all due respect, I'm going to steal this money from you.
Yeah,
You know. But it was one of those amends that every sponsee that I had from when I got sober in 2018, right? I always talked about this fucking amends due to the nights. Because it bothered me, because that's fucked up. You got these men, because I know the heart of those men, dude.
Yeah.
Right? And so Johnny finally got it set up, got it sanctioned, and I was able to come, made an amends to everybody, got up there, told a quick story, paid the money back. But it just goes to show you why discipline is so important with the amends process as the principal. Because, dude, when you have that opportunity, you gotta do it.
What a great opportunity for the newer guys in the Knights to see that too. Is that you come back and this is how we make things right. It might not be, it'll be on God's time. And you got the opportunity and you had the courage to come and do it. So that's fantastic. I think that's one of the best stories ever.
Dude, it was great.
Only a bunch of addicts can sit there and be like, dude, wait, you robbed a bunch of guys in recovery? That's awesome. And then you came back and made an amends. So that's cool.
It was cool just to have the program in action and be able to make that right. It just wasn't my time. But I mean, you guys are building houses. You guys, there's just so much service that the Knights do. Not to mention just the H&I alone, and that they come to Desert, and I'm sure you have them set up over there as well. It's an amazing thing. But I want to get into your journey and your story, because you don't get to be a founder, CEO. Most of us, we have a passion for this thing because we've had a lot of consequences from this thing, and it got our attention.
Amen.
And we found a solution, and now we have the ability to present it to others, and that's what we do.
Right.
So you're born in Michigan, lived there most of your life here in Michigan. So why don't you just share a little bit about what it was like growing up in Michigan, how hard it's been to be a Detroit Lions fan and go through that, how you really feel about Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I love Matt Stafford. There's nobody that was rooting for him harder in the Super Bowl than me. I promise you that. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my good friends is a Detroit Lions fan. I was rooting for them too. Their coach, I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite things to do, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, about winning the morning. Mm-hmm. What's your morning routine? What do you do in the morning?
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
So without sounding holier than thou, I look at the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and I try to take it quite literally. And so when it tells me to do certain things, just like with a step one, when it points out suggestions and everything else, like growing spiritually and what this looks like, we need to have our morning routine. We need to invite God into the day.
That's right.
Excuse me. So before I get out of bed, I try to invite God into the day, and that's just real simple, right? But then I've got my readings actually from your guy, Johnny Lazaro. I start there, and I've got a couple others from some Knights guys and some church readings and just different stuff. I get centered, and I have a couple cups of coffee. I am a cigar smoker, so there sometimes gets one of those in the morning too. Bless my wife's heart for allowing me to do
that's how
that.
and that's what it's all about, because dude, and that's what recovery is. Recovery is an experience. So what we're trying to figure out is how we experience God, and winning the morning is the most important. And I heard a lot about what you said. That's why I got so fired up, because I'm paying attention, dude. And you said a lot of shit I like, dude. And winning the morning and being up early, inviting God. How many ways can you invite God into your lifestyle before the sun comes up? That's the name of the game. Prayer. I heard meditation. I heard cigars. Smoking cigars is the way you experience God, dude. It's an experience. It engages the same area in my brain.
Absolutely.
So by the music, Motiversity, and the reason it made me think about this is I like listening to Motiversity. And some of Dan Quinn, the coach for the Detroit Lions, some of his speeches, dude.
Oh, they're epic.
Oh my God,
you
dude.
run through a wall.
It doesn't matter that they lost. It really doesn't, dude. I got the chills. Like, he's legit. You can tell he's got a heart. And that's what makes us so special in this industry, is our heart, right? So why don't you kind of share just the family dynamic, what it was like growing up, and just some of that experience?
Sure. I grew up, I was born in 84, so it was a different time. I had a single mom, and bless her heart, she didn't do anything wrong. She was just trying to make ends meet. And so she worked a lot. She worked a couple different jobs.
Sure.
And I had an older brother, and we used to run amok, man. We started young. Like, you could leave your kids home at 7 and 8 back then. Or I don't know. They
called it latchkey kids, right. And because parents work 2 jobs. I'd walk home, get the key, and
it was a different time. And so we did that, and I quickly we were speaking about it. I quickly started getting into some stuff, man. I smoked weed. I believe the first time at 8 years old with one of my neighbors. Yeah.
I have a 13-year-old daughter, dude.
It's bonkers to think about. I have a 13-year-old
boy. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. And every time I have a guest on, now that I have kids and I could actually put it into perspective, I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Oh yeah. I was fully incarcerated by 13.
Dude, like that's 7th grade. Like my
making grown-up decisions and getting grown-up consequences.
like my daughter was, bless her heart, still like Squishmallows at 13,
Right.
dude, and you're literally in juvenile.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
crazy,
deserving
dude.
to be there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So talk about how quick that kind of progression happens from the smoking weed to the drinking to the arrests. Like
so quick.
is it a small town? Sorry, I keep cutting you. Is it a small town? Do they know you? Like
they know
you?
Yeah,
like,
they know who you are back there, and they hunt you. Like it's a different vibe. Like when I came out to Phoenix, like so long as I wasn't doing much, I quit getting in trouble. My whole youth was riddled with arrest and warrants and incarceration and all of the stuff that goes along with it. When I came to Phoenix, I quit getting into trouble because I wasn't on their radar.
Yeah.
You know, but in Michigan, it was definitely like a smaller town feel. They knew who I was.
Is it like the sticks? Like
no, I
Green?
wasn't in the city. I was in Metro Detroit, but it's
Did you
not like
see cops a lot? Because I ask you this because
I sure as hell did.
yeah, I know you did. I know. But so,
Yeah.
my thing is like, because my family's from like Western New York, like where Ron's going, Rochester, Utica.
Sure.
And I'll go there for a week and be up in upstate New York and not even see a cop.
Oh no, I see cops.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They're present. You're in the
Yeah,
city. You're
yeah.
not
I
in,
don't know
like,
where
the
you're at.
state.
I should have lived in New York.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You should have been in Fairport, Rochester.
Yeah,
you know?
where I was at, they were active.
Yeah, they were active.
Yeah. And
So when you start drinking at such a young age, I mean, are we talking parties? Like, pick it up there. Like, how's that happen?
It was, my grandfather, rest in peace, had 42 years of continuous sobriety when he passed away.
shout out
and
to
so like I knew I could watch him. My dad wasn't really around, and my grandfather was. And so like I had an idea of what recovery looked like, even though I didn't know what went into it. But I knew that he had sponsees. I knew that there were strangers that he helped, and I knew that he went a couple nights a week to meetings.
Yeah.
I didn't put it all together till later on, and and through recovery, actually, my grandpa's sitting in that chair over there right now.
Absolutely,
and
dude.
that's like the coolest part about this whole deal. There's so much cool stuff to it, but so like as far as the partying, I say all that to say this, like I got my first DUI when I was 14, 15 years old, and my grandfather had to take me.
We're talking like summer before 8th grade, freshman year in high school, or freshman year.
It was summer before freshman year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not,
Yeah. And my grandfather took me to a meeting, and I think of how bizarre that was. So at the time, he would have had about 30 years. And we went to a small, smoky basement church group meeting. And we go to a lot of meetings, and I see 17, 18-year-olds in there sometimes, and it's always, to me, it's jarring to see that. I can't imagine what went on in my grandfather's head when he took his 13-year-old, 14-year-old grandson into a meeting of people that he's been going to meetings with for 30 years. And to know what was coming down the road for me. And it sure as hell did.
Yeah, dude, do you think that? So like when I see we have a young kid, right? He's Johnny, what was he, like 19? The kid that AMA'd, got drunk, jumped into our neighbor's truck, took a nap.
Yeah.
The neighbors were like, he needs help. He came back to the facility. He's doing great now, getting ready to graduate. But they're young kids, and I always think to myself, dude, fuck if they get it, dude. Oh my God.
You're a weapon. Your life.
But if they don't, like what's to come right now?
Yeah.
And I look them in the eye because they're flight risk at all times. They think it's Michigan's fault still.
Sure.
Yeah. And I tell them like, dude, you have 15 years if you're lucky of pain.
Yep.
That's going to rain down on your life.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, dude, and that's what happens with you.
Yep.
So I mean, we're talking juvenile. You did high school in juvie, right?
The whole time. Yeah. The whole time. I didn't.
What was juvenile hall like?
So when I was 16, so it's a place back in Michigan that it got shut down. It was open for like 50, 60 years. It was called WJ Maxey Boys Training School, and it was like a gladiator school. Like they have them in California, so you got to age into it and age out. And so they don't want you in there too young to be like taken advantage of or something like that. And it was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough. It was like it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And
juvenile's harder than adult prison, dude, by far.
It wasn't, and you miss all of that stuff, like those fundamental years, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever. You just miss all that. Like it wasn't a thing. There was no prom. There was none of that. There was no driving. There was none of like any of whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Like that whole segment's gone, which then kind of trickles into your adulthood.
Because that's what you learn, that's
like
all you know.
I don't know. I can't, when my wife and I have a disagreement on something that like kind of pertains to our views with parenting or with decision making in family relations, I'm like, I don't have that. Like I miss that segment of my life, and it sucks. Like I
And you're married,
deserved
right?
it.
You're married right now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, happily.
So, yeah.
I should say.
Big shout
Shout
out.
out Jennifer.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out Jennifer. Big
Yeah.
time. I'm married. Shout out Ash. Let me ask you this. Do you find it a struggle with your wife to practice the program that you easily display to others at all times and can recite, rattle off, fucking verbatim, page whatever you want, retire at night, upon awakenings, third step prayers, seventh step humility, good and bad, I offer myself to thee, my creators, and all these.
That, right? Yep.
How does it work at home with your wife? That's what I'm curious about.
Man,
Because that's my struggle, dude.
Yeah, it's all of ours.
Yeah,
it's I'm so blessed. My wife is a follower of Christ, and she's a saint. Yeah. She just is, and she completes me in every way. She's a partner of mine in our business. She is awesome. She is the leader and CEO of our household with our children. And so it is tough, though, because she hears me. Where it really gets tricky is that you'll give your time to these sponsees and to your business and whatever. And so consequently, somebody's got to lose on that. And oftentimes it's your wife. And,
100%.
and it's unintentional, but that's where it sucks. And so we just have to do it like tricks. You know, I'm part of a men's group, I'm in an accountability group, and they say, why don't you leave your phone down for the first half hour when you get home from work, which is impossible. I mean, you try to do that shit tonight and then talk to me about it. And
I know it's hard.
So just, you know, like anything else that we do is be intentional. You know, there was a church service at CCV where they talked about the I think it's called the intentional father, where like there's 3 types of fathers. There's an absentee father, which we can guess what that is. There's the present father, which is the one who shows up. And then there's the intentional one, which predicts what the outcome is going to be and then tries to adapt his life to achieve these outcomes. And I think that's with Guiding Road and in life. Like that's when it had a profound effect on me when I heard that series in that speaker talk about it, because it's just, how am I trying to manifest results in my relationship with my wife, and how can I pour into this relationship? And so it's hard. It's hard.
Great answer, dude.
Hard.
I get it. It's hard because it's the time. Yeah, it comes down to the time. You got the sponsees.
You asked her that question. You better have an hour for that.
Yeah, dude. I know. It's a struggle, dude. Yeah. Like I could be great in so many different areas of my life, and then I find that one area where I just don't want to do things sometimes. I know what to say. I know what I should do. And I can't, you know, so I always like to get advice and hear what others, because it's a lot, dude. When you're a CEO and you're building businesses and you got kids and a wife and a bunch of trauma that you've caused we've been together 15 years, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So,
there's wreckage.
8-year prison sentence, and there's some things in there, you know?
Bless her heart.
So, yeah, God bless her heart, too. But let's get back to your story. So we're talking 5 DUIs. So we're talking like, they're like, fuck, Mark, again? Are you serious?
Yep.
Like booking, they already, like, you're fast-tracked through booking or what?
If they saw me, they know that I don't have a license.
And you're drunk.
And I'm drunk. Like, so it's cherries, baby. Let's go. You know? It was all bad, man. It was all bad.
And then so finally, because you know, I think about, so my brother, when he was in high school, he hit a house with a vehicle, drunk, stole my dad's car. He went to a boys' home. It's called Helaman House. I don't think it's no longer open. It was in like East Mesa. That's where he went to high school. It was a boys' ranch.
Yep.
Right. And he aged out. So you age out at 21 years old, right? You basically, that's all you know is incarceration for the most part, in and out. You don't really have a good example of very much because you've been incarcerated.
Right.
So now here we are, we're 21 years old. They let you out and you're in Michigan and you decide you're going to, it's the police's fault, right?
Yeah, right.
Mark Herman, my PO, piece of shit, 98.
Yeah.
Shout out Mark Herman, dude. I blamed him for a long time.
I hope you're watching.
Yeah, Mark Herman.
And I owe you an amends like the Knights.
I do.
Yeah, man. It was the location, right? But I want to go back to what you had asked earlier, and you said like how it progressed. Is I knew early on, like from that meeting with my grandfather, I couldn't qualify that I was an alcoholic as far as the physical allergy and the mental obsession and spiritual malady. I couldn't do that yet. But I knew that I drank to go into oblivion. You know, I knew that I drank abnormally. Yeah. And so that was always the case. And I never, that never changed. That's always how I got loaded, no matter what the substance was. Yeah, that was always what it was. So when I'm 21 and I'm out and I'm terrified to go to prison and to do more time, and my friends are dying, I mean, left and right. Yeah. And this is before fentanyl. This is with OC80s and back then, and there's heroin is really prevalent back in Detroit at the time, still is.
Oh yeah.
And
When we were talking, I shot called the year. I'm like 2003.
Yeah, you knew
we're
exactly,
talking 2003,
right.
aren't we, dude?
Yeah,
Because
So you
that was what I was into. Oxycontins.
Right.
I went to prison the first time for prescription writing.
Right.
And heroin, dude.
Yeah, so you get
soccer injury and pills in prison is what happened.
They go together.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
A lot of peas.
So, so my friends are dying. A couple of my buddies are driving and hit a tree back in Michigan. One of them was my best friend who I was with him 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
The other one was a good friend of mine, and they died instantly. It's not like these little mesquite trees out here that you hit and they might be able to make it. And I knew, like, at my core, and I think a lot of us that are in recovery can sit there and say, like, they knew when the black cloud was floating over them and they could feel it, right? There was something in there, you want to call it God or whatever it is, like, hey, this is not good, dude. You got to get out of here. So Michigan was the problem, not my use. So I came out to Arizona.
It's the snow. Again, it's too fucking cold. That's the problem. I'm cold and I'm bored. Right? It makes me do heroin in the snow.
Leaves are off the trees. And all of a sudden there's a needle in my arm. It happens to everyone.
So you moved to AZ. That was your first time in AZ. What'd you think when you got here?
I thought it was really pretty. It was
different.
It was so different. There's not lakes and it's newer compared to Michigan, and so everything's set up on the grid. And I thought, we talked about this earlier with the cops. I thought how nice it was that the cops didn't hunt you. Like they're
too busy around here. You got to actually do something.
Right? Yeah.
They're not looking. They're not driving. Because that's what I used to, because I'm from Peoria, which used to be, it's a smaller city. It was, and I had a lot of parties.
Yeah.
If I had a 3-hour block, I was having a full scale party. Like disrespecting the shit out of my parents, dude. Just shout out mom and dad, dude. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where they would just drive by my house. Like, let's just see what's going on.
Odds are, it's a crap
Odds are we'll be busy tonight.
Right.
Same
Two
sort
cars
of thing.
too. We're not just coming with one.
Same sort of thing, dude.
Yeah, so it was cool, man. I didn't have much work experience, and so I made a fake resume. I got hired as a server at a restaurant up in Cave Creek, and it was cool, man. I was able to just be this different person. Like back in Michigan, I felt like I always had to be, and because I went to, even though I'm not a tough guy, I felt like because I was constantly incarcerated, I had to be a tough guy. Like I had to put on this persona to people, and so that was the one cool thing. Like I didn't find like myself here, but I was able to like let that part go, and I didn't need to be a tough guy, but I did wind up finding cocaine, and that was that
Have you seen the movie Waiting?
Oh yeah,
just that's the life, right? Where it's partying, I mean, you live the bartender life.
Sure. Yep.
Make a bunch of money, spend it all at night, go out afterwards, bang all the chicks.
Yep. Well, try to.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Shout out your wife.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about that like this morning. It's the small blessings today. Like I find so much gratitude in grocery stores, like that I can just walk down the aisle and pick out what I want. It's crazy. Or like going to a Circle K, and if I want a candy bar, just buy it. I don't care that the price is way too high. Jennifer might, but I can just get what I want. But I was thinking back to like what a day of gratitude was to me back then when I was loaded in bartending and serving tables, was if I had enough money left over the next morning to eat breakfast. And I would make $200 a night, but I would drink or blow it all, in that night, and that was like a successful day. Like, whoa, dude, you
woke
had
up with
enough.
$20.
I had enough for
burrito. I'm good.
Winning. Look at you. Look at you.
Let's do it again tonight.
Keep
on winning.
Good thing I'm working a double.
You better get an 8-ball.
All right, let's get after it.
I know, man. It's just the insanity when we look at that. And then I look at it when I work the steps, and I really look at just how fear is just in every aspect of my life, because I'm literally, my actions feed into every fear that I have all day long. Dude.
Absolutely.
And the first fear is, do I have money? And am I going to be able to eat, right? And whether we really are believing it that we're living in fear, we're all living in fear. Dude.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it comes down to. And so you're out here, you're living the bartender life, you get into the cocaine, you're doing all that, and then finally you end up, fuck it, I need to go to Crossroads. I need to get help. How do you end up finding Crossroads?
So I'd pushed the gal I was dating too far, and she, I don't break up well. I don't handle rejection well. I think don't call me means come over. Like one of those deals. Like don't be here means call me from block number. Like that's how
a burner phone is what I heard.
Right. That's, I don't know. I'm not trying hard enough. Right. It says that we exert ourselves more in the actor scenario.
Yes, dude. Yes.
So but I knew I pushed her too far this time. It was a gal that I was with for several years. And I was truly worried that I'd violated the restraining order that had been put on me. And I thought I was going to go to prison for it. And so I'm like, manipulator that I am in controlling, if I go to Crossroads East, then I will Crossroads. And I got blessed to go to Crossroads East. Yeah. If I go to Crossroads, then they won't arrest me. Right. And I'll be able to say, look at how good I'm doing. Yeah. So.
Shout out to Crossroads, Cornerstone. Shout out to all those places, man. I have had a service commitment at Crossroads for 4 years, just about. Saturday night, big book study, Midtown. Yeah. That's my jam. I sponsor guys there. Yeah. That's my connection to Crossroads, and I have a ton of respect for them, dude. They always have the lights on over there, dude. Yeah, they do. If you need help. And there's so many people that have been through there. They gave me the chance. It wasn't my time. I didn't get sober, but they scholarshiped me. They took me in when nobody else would, and I'll never forget that shit.
Right.
But it wasn't your time, right?
No,
but you got it all back quick because we talked about this. Some people have it, some people don't. That's okay.
Yep.
Right. But when you have it, it's a gift and a curse, because what happens is you get it all back really quick before you've even done step 3.
Right.
You did 2 conclusions and a decision. So talk about that.
Yeah, God's going to bless you quick. I tell guys all the time, I don't know why he messes with us the way that he does, but God fucks with us, man. And you're going to catch these blessings, and it's like, what do I do with it? And so that's why staying in gratitude and then truly understanding how vicious our disease is just, it's paramount to anything. But the thing I did get out of Crossroads is I got that there's a community that will love on me and support me. And people genuinely cared how I was doing. They would give me hugs, and they were excited to see me get to day 12, and day 13. Yeah. Like it meant something to them. I was awesome. Like, what the fuck? And I liked making my bed. Just like when I was incarcerated, I did really well in structured settings. And I even prayed there. I just was like, oh, the sponsor thing, not for me.
Yeah,
like
I don't need that part.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I think you guys are overreacting here.
That's where I focus on the suggestion component of the book. It's a suggestion, okay?
Right, yeah. And so I got out, and I got the job back, and I got the gal back. I got everything. I got her to drop the restraining order, and I got loaded again very quickly. And I wasn't apologetic about it. Like I wasn't down. Like, they'll say a head full of LA or AA and a belly full of beer. It didn't really fuck me around much because I didn't get far enough into it.
Yeah, you didn't get too deep.
Right.
God didn't grab your heart yet.
Yeah, right. I was ignoring it too much, but life got good, or life got bad. I was working and had Jen back and doing all this stuff. And
this is the same girl through this whole time?
Same gal.
Shout out to Jennifer.
I know,
dude.
Right? Oh yeah. I'm sorry I already snuck her.
No, okay, now I got it. Yeah.
That we got married eventually because it goes sideways again as it
of
should.
Course,
Excuse me. So it goes on a couple years, right? And this is in 2018, 2019, 2020, right there leading up to COVID. Yep. And I remember it's like I'm working for a good restaurant at the time, and so they had benefits and they had everything all lined up. They had a solid HR department at one of these big chains or big groups. And I say that just to say how quick I got unemployment when COVID came. Yeah. And I got into a big fight with her the night they canceled that first basketball game, that Jazz game.
Yeah,
and we knew,
never forget that.
Yep. And we knew it was going to be bad. And she's like, F this, I'm gone. Like, I'm taking the kids. I'm not doing this.
Quarantining with your ass. I ain't doing this shit with you.
Yeah, I don't know what this is going to look like, but it's not going to involve you.
Yeah.
And so
I'm hibernating with you.
Yeah, right? No, we're not hunkering down, dude. Not you. And so she takes off. I get this big condo that's in her name that she pays for at least for a couple months. That was in March, and the condo wasn't up until the last day of May. And so I called my old buddy when I was at Crossroads, used to make fun of me. Shout out AJ. AJ works with me now.
Yeah, big shout out AJ.
Yeah, and AJ used to always call me a pussy for just doing coke. And he's like, you don't smoke meth? You don't shoot meth? And I'm like, no, I did like once or twice. But but you fucking pussy, dude. You candy ass, you bougie bitch. So when she leaves, I'm like, I want to get real high. Yeah. I want to be like talking to myself. Yeah. Throwing my shoes kind of high, dude. That's how I want to get, shouting at cars in the street.
7th gear.
Yeah.
The only gear I like.
Yeah. You know where I'm trying to get.
I know exactly what you like. Yeah.
And so, and I got this unemployment like immediately, God's blessings. And I did, man. I smoked a grip of meth, and I would get so fucking like anybody. Shout out to anybody who got loaded with me, because they know like I was terrible. I was a dude. I went into psychosis like this almost every time. And it was all bad,
It's
dude.
called the reverse tolerance, where you go right into psychosis every time you do it.
Every time.
With some people, it's rare, but some people, it's called reverse tolerance. Some people, when they drink, immediately they drink one beer and they're hammered, dude.
Right.
Immediately just hammered. And sometimes you do meth it could be instant.
Yep.
You can do it for a lot of years, and at some point you cross into this stage where you take one hit and you're nuts.
Yep. That's me, dude. And
shout out to anyone who got high with me, because I am weird and in the window and watching cameras and
I'm watching them and they're watching me. So we're just gonna watch each other for days.
Bless my wife's heart, she's a normie, right?
Yeah.
She would come out before I went to prison and all the things and got sober, and I'd have the cameras on the 64-inch. She'd come out 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, shh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna hear
that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? She's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I know you got a warrant, babe, but they're not coming right now.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. I'm like, I think they're outside you. Dude, I'm that guy, dude.
I tell my brother I take my iPhone all apart and shit like that, and I tell my brother. My brother had 8 years, and he helped me on this journey. But Patrick, and he tells me, I remember him and my sister-in-law Lisa. She's got a group of sobriety too, and I'm telling them, like, you don't get it. They're after me, and my brother tells me, so matter of fact, he goes, "It's COVID. You think they're worried about you?" Like, for what? Jerking off?
Yeah,
like, what are you?
You're naked with a sock, brother. They're not coming for you right now, dude.
They've got bigger shit to worry about, dude. Like, they are not worried about you.
Yeah.
And it was like such a profound but simple thing. And I'm looking at them like, and I tried to register it for a second. And I'm like, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, you don't understand.
You don't understand.
You understand how important I am right now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is like, you don't realize, man. It's like my thoughts and my ego and my mind and then all of the shit that I've been doing. I don't know how the devil plays in. I don't know how all that stuff works, man. But I know that it was as real as day what was going on. And I would lock myself, the deadbolt on the front door, and then I would jam the door, and then I'd go in my bedroom and I'd lock that door, and I'd get into the closet and I'd lock that door, and it was a progression over time, you know, sometimes immediately, but as I would be in there. But the problem is all my thoughts and my shame and my actions go with me.
Yep.
I can't lock my mind out of those doors. So I'm just locking, I think I'm locking my fears out, but they're coming in.
Yep, you do more and you do more and you
gnarly,
do more
dude.
and you do more, so you don't have to think it, feel it, or care about it, but it's still there, and you're piling more guilt, shame on top of it, because you're behind 3 locks in the fucking closet naked with a sock.
And here's the sock. Yeah, right? That's all I got to my name is my cell phone and my sock.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And so, you know, at some point, you know, in 2021, right around this time period, you know, you get the gift of pain and desperation, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where you call dad, and you're just like, how's that end? Sock's gone. Fucking Wi-Fi connections fucking shut off. And May 1st is here, and they're fucking kicking us out.
Yep.
No other options left. Exhausted all alibis.
Yep.
Do what I always do. Call mom and dad.
That's it. They're my go-to.
Or call my wife, you know, you know, and so take it from there.
So it's coming up, and my mom, bless her heart, she had called me and she had asked me for my social.
Yeah, shout out mom.
Yeah, Colleen, she's great. And so she calls and she asks for my social, and I don't trip about it because she's taken care of me my whole life. I've never had an apartment. I've never
just
had
rattle
anything.
It off. Here you go, mom.
Yeah,
no
there
questions
you go. Yeah,
asked.
you're not doing anything but helping me as always. And she calls me back like 2 weeks later, and she's like, "You're approved." And I'm like, "Approved for what?" And she's like, "Approved for your apartment." And so she went behind my back and applied for an apartment because she knew I was getting kicked out of.
She knew you needed a place.
And
needed help.
And she didn't know what was going. She knew I was gassed out of my mind, and so she's like, "You need something." And I had this unemployment coming in, so it qualified me for an apartment. But what happens is I wind up moving into the same building as her, right above her. And so she's in 179 and I'm in 279.
She could hear everything. She could hear my footsteps. She could
everything.
You're walking on your tiptoes.
Oh, yeah, but
like
she can hear it. Yeah, but I don't have like carpets or rugs or anything nice. So like all she can hear is me like, I just picture like the Grinch walking around, you know, like tiptoeing. Yeah, it was all bad. And so this goes on for a couple months. And you know, she calls me, and she wants me to come down for Christmas dinner, and it's, you know, I'm supposed to be down at 3. She lets me know early. Yeah. She wakes up like an adult. You know, she tries to conquer the day.
She wins the morning. Yeah, she wins the morning, does all the things. Yep. Yeah.
And so I'm supposed to be there at 3, but I'm in knee deep in psychosis, and I'm staring at the crack of the door, like pinched neck and all that, and I just know they're coming, and I can't bring myself to go into, oh, dude, I've got it.
Yeah.
No, that could be. I could go.
I know,
dude. I could talk about hearing my neighbors and the conversations they're having. Anyways,
I think that's real. The supersonic hearing.
It is. It's a thing, man. I don't know. When I get up to heaven, man, I can't wait for him to explain it to me.
That. Yeah, there's one thing I need to know.
Yeah, and he's Oh my gosh. So anyway, so I come downstairs. Eventually, it's like 7:00 at night. And my mom's preparing the dinner, and she's just crying into the corn, and she's just, All she wants is a normal
Just
day.
One dinner.
One dinner.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it.
Just fucking come down for one dinner, please.
Give me one day where you don't
That's
act
it.
like this.
That's all I want. One
and she's
day.
like, can't you do it? And I said, no.
Your mom's still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she gets to witness just.
Yeah. Dude, my mom, no, my mom's, dude, I take my mom on vacation,
Yes,
dude.
I already know.
Yeah,
I already know.
mom's tight.
They make me cry right now. I go to my parents' house and I'm just doing yard work in the backyard, just crying. Like, I get to contribute to your life for once. Like, this is just gratitude.
I always finish my story, man, when I get to pitch a full pitch at a meeting. And I always end with, I wrap around with, that gal that left me, and I have a beautiful baby, and we're happily married, and she's got years of sobriety, and and that my mom would love to be my neighbor today.
Yeah,
and
yes.
it's all dope, man. So Christmas was the breaking point. My brother had 8 years of recovery at the time, and
your grandfather, your brother, your mom, like now everyone's. You got a bunch of examples that's showing you that God works.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And my brother spoon-fed me God, man. He spoon-fed me AA and digestible bites. And I remember, like, it was like a breakthrough. It took a while, man. I remember sitting there at, like, 3 weeks clean, and I was in my apartment, and I was in the shower, and I was crying, thinking I was never going to be able to speak again, because I was one of those dudes that talked to himself a bunch and and mumbled, and I was gone, and I didn't think it was going to come back. And it's like I tell people all the time, be careful with the guy on the street, because that person might only be 3 weeks away from having a life like us.
I know.
And so, like, as we sit there and we judge these people that are just out there and they seem just like they're lost, that's somebody's child, A, and then B, he might not be far. Yeah. He might not be as far as you think.
Yeah.
And so, but I remember sitting there. So it was a process. And then eventually I was able to look at the camera. It took me a little while. And I was able to say, hey, I'm Mark and I'm an alcoholic. And then they opened up on 43rd and Dunlap, that fellowship hall down there. And I would go and sit. Shout out Bosa Donuts over there for staying active during COVID. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they didn't care.
No, straight up, dude.
Yeah.
And I would go over to fellowship hall, and I would go to that first meeting. Like when I tell people, I'm in the treatment space. And I tell people it's not the only way, though. I think it's a safer bet? Yeah, but I didn't this time around. I didn't. I did it through AA, and I went to a million meetings, and I got a phenomenal sponsor. Shout out Esther Wallace.
Yeah, shout out.
And
big time.
And so I went. I would sit there all day long, and I'd go to 4 meetings a day. And I started looking at that unemployment that I took for granted as a meth supply before. I started looking at it as God's provision ahead of time, knowing where I was going to go. And so I started using that to put $1 in the basket and to buy a Bosa donut and a coffee. And then they got to know me at Bosa, and they would give me free refills. I could come back in between meetings. And I did that shit for a couple months. And then there was Ian Day came in.
Shout out Ian.
Ian Day. Shout out Ian Day. Comes in, and I thank these guys. They don't even know how much they played.
Ian. They got all episodes if you want to see their story. Yeah. All the guys.
They don't know how they play my story. And that's why you don't know. And that's why you do these things. When somebody asks you to do a podcast, or somebody asks you to go to chair a meeting, or somebody asks you to speak, you just go do it, because you don't know it's me sitting in this chair because of these people. Without it, they intercede in my life. My willingness meets them in my desperation. And somehow I'm sitting here sober with a happy life. And so Ian Day goes, he's sitting over there, and he's like, there's a men's retreat. And I'm feeling good, dude. I'm 2 months sober at this time. I want to go to this thing. For the first time, my self-esteem, I've been doing esteemable acts, and so my self-esteem's catching up to where it should be. I go, I want to go to that. And they go, oh, here's the thing, you got to have a sponsor. So I didn't have a sponsor right out of the gate, but I was willing and I was desperate. I was at meetings nonstop. And so I went over to this Tuesday night men's meeting, this big ass meeting that I was scared to death on. And I remember I took the bus over there. I was taking the bus everywhere. Shout out to the Valley Metro bus, dude. Like I tell dudes all the time,
shout out to all the sponsees. I don't want to hear no shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, get it done.
My story is a story of a lot of humbling myself, and then God just going, you go 10%, I'll take you 90.
Yep.
And so, but I wasn't scared of the bus. I wasn't scared. I washed dishes. Essel told me to get a simple job. I worked in the dish pit at AJ's, man. I was washing dishes. I got sober in that dish pit, but I never missed a meeting. And so, but I remember walking in a Tuesday night meeting, and I had my book bag, right, with all my belongings, and I had to walk all the way down Redfield because the bus dropped you at T-Bird in Scottsdale, and it was at Old Cornerstone on Redfield. And I remember walking, and I had so much shame, and I'm like, they're going to see me walking and know I'm a loser.
No, I don't have a car.
And this and that. And I get there, none of them have cars, the new guys.
There's
like,
no cars out front.
They're my fucking people. It's my tribe. So, anyways,
dude,
so I get there.
Important.
And God met me. Mikey Candela introduced me to Esther Wallace. I really liked the dude. I'll get through this part real quick. I start fucking with Estel, and it's COVID, and he spends a ton of time with me. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful for you, Estel, for everything. And so Estel spends a bunch of time with me. We get cracking on our steps. He says, I'm going to get you through these steps quick, and then you're going to sponsor dudes. I'm like, what do I have to lose, dude? At this point, what the fuck do I have to lose? And so we did. We got through my steps. I was sponsoring dudes by like 6 or 7. I mean, I was sponsoring dudes quick.
That's how you to teach something is to master it.
Yeah,
that is the program.
Yeah,
the only way you're gonna getting sober isn't the hard part. It's staying sober and wanting to stay sober.
Right.
It's finding purpose and connection. And the way you do that, and the biggest component is forgiving self. And the way you forgive self is help a lot of men.
That's it. That's it. And like, and it seems like so simple to us on this side of things, but like, dude, you've got to do it. Give me 6 months. That's what I tell dudes. Just give me 6 months. I'm not even asking for a fucking year. Give me 6 months of just doing. If you're where I ask you to be for 6 months, you're gonna be all right.
Good.
Yeah,
because God's gonna, because it's a 50-50 relationship with the higher power, with God. My 50% is the action steps each day. God's 50% is the outcomes in my life.
Amen.
So just give me fucking 6 months of action, dude,
and then
let God do his part.
Yeah, and then call me a liar. You know where I'm at. You got my address. Come beat my ass and call me a liar. I promise you it'll happen, dude. Yeah, like test me. Yeah. The only way to do is to try it, though. Yeah. But so I go on this retreat. So we're up on like step 3. We're through 3. I'm writing some inventory, and I remember, shout out Nick Hale. I've told Nick Hale, I get the pleasure of telling him all the time, if you ever get a chance to rap with Nick Hale, he's a G. And so Nick Hale, we're at this huge bonfire meeting while you're probably looting the wallets.
Yeah, that's what I was in the wallets.
We're at this huge bonfire meeting, and there's like 100 dudes there. And Nick Hale talks about him being on meth, and I'm not going to go into a story, but he talks about some wild, weird shit. And I go, dude, if he can say that, and I lean over and I say, whisper in Estel's ear, I go, I think I can share my 4-step.
Yeah, I think.
I think I can do that. Yeah, because I was in the right spot. I was. Oftentimes, it's you got to be where you're supposed to be in order to hear what you're supposed to hear. So if I make a commitment and say I'm going to be there, God's already working on the back end of what's supposed to be, what's supposed to happen there. So I was where I was supposed to be, and I heard what I was supposed to hear, and then it gave me the courage to do what I had to do. And you know, the rest is history, man. I got active as fuck, and it's
the only way. Dude.
It's still that way.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, I've got service commitments, sponsees, all of that good stuff, and I believe through and through that if I drop these things, I'll get loaded. Yeah. And I beg you guys, if there's any new guys listening to this, to give it a chance and stick with it long enough to catch the blessings, to realize I can't lose this life. Like I can't lose it, what I have today. And so in order to do that, I have to do these simple things. Oh, what? I have to answer the phone for some sponsees and call my sponsor, and I have to go to a meeting in my new car and do this shit. And fill up my full gas tank and do all that in order to live this blessed life. Yeah, it doesn't sound like too bad of a deal, right?
It's not.
Yeah, we're fucked, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. That's why I've had that service commitment for 4 years at Crossroads, dude, because it works.
Yeah, right.
And
here we are.
And I know that if I'm willing to drive anywhere to help anyone and pick up that phone at any time that I possibly can and be there for those men when men were there for me, as long as I do that, everything in my life will work out.
Amen.
Because I got 7 years, 8 years, 7, whatever it is, years of data that shows me it's a fact. And anytime I get caught up in my head and I call Johnny or I call Ron, now I can call you and be like, Mark, dude, fuck, I'm thinking, be like, brother, listen, dude, look over the last 7 years. Every single time you've done your part, which is living gratitude, selflessness, positive character assets, positive character traits. When you do those things, every single thing is worked out in your life. Why would this be any different?
Every time.
Every time. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
You're right. I feel so stupid, but thank you for that.
But you're right. And that's why the fellowship is so important, because if the last person, even though it should be one of the first people I will call be my wife, I'm not going to call her and tell her I'm thinking about doing butt rockets today. You know what I mean? Dude, it's going to be all bad.
Yeah, right.
But I can call you and you're like, I get it, dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
fuck, absolutely. Now I'm thinking about it.
What happened last time you did? Let's play the tape through. You're right, dude. Where are you going tonight? Let's get
not going to go well.
Let's smoke a cigar.
Sure.
Let's go to Estel's over there in Scottsdale, smoke a cigar.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to him, man. He's an amazing individual. And what I love about him is he knows how to explain the steps in a way you actually know what the fuck is going on, dude.
Oh my gosh. He's so
And so let's talk now about guiding road. So we found a guiding road. So talk a little bit about programming, what you do there. So we got 2 different locations that they live at. One's a PHP, IOP, whatever that looks like. And then ultimately they go to the clinic every day, and that's where they get the services, 12-step programming, motivational interviewing, stuff like that.
All that. Yep. And so I'm really blessed. The staff, all of our staff are in recovery. They've been down this road with me for a long time. Bobby Boykin is our executive director over there and runs a ton of groups. Bobby's fucking
dude,
awesome.
I'm having him on the show, dude.
Yeah.
I recently had the privilege of meeting him, and I was like, oh, I like this dude.
He's a solid dude. He's a good.
He's a hard worker, and he
Yep.
works a solid program, and his life is a reflection of it. I like that shit.
Yep. And Joey Cassidy, he's like our Christian saint of the group. My wife is over there. AJ, my meth plug from Crossroads, I helped him get sober, and so he works with us, and so the whole team is just bought in, and it's really cool because they walk the walk and they talk the talk.
Yeah.
And if you spend enough time around Guiding Road, you're gonna pick up on that. Like you're over there for 10 minutes, you're gonna feel you're just gonna feel it. It's real, it's authentic. And so you come in and we believe in the 12 steps. We believe in God. We believe in connecting dudes to a higher power, and we walk them gently along that path. We do, and I know it's some people will not agree with this, but we assign sponsors, and it's not like we just pick them out of the thing. But we try to match people up as best as we can. We ask them a couple questions about where their faith is, what they think, and we try to pair them up because we want to get guys to step 9 before they get out of our care. And we need the sponsor to be willing. Not all sponsors see it that way, and that's okay. Everyone, there's a million ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, dude.
Like I've said, and so
I
like,
live in
it's not
reality,
us.
dude.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. There's plenty of ways to get sober. Everybody's recovery looks different.
Yeah.
I know the book verbatim, just like you do, but I'm also living reality.
Sure. And so we got to have the sponsor that is willing and capable of getting them up to 9. And so we pair them up well. We've had tremendous success. We have a lot of alumni already that they come in. We have a barbecue on Thursdays. The whole recovery community is invited. We do it every Thursday except for the last Thursday of the month because that's the night's barbecue. Yeah. But every other Thursday, we have a barbecue over at Guiding Road from 5 to 6:30, and they come over, smoke cigars, eat food, and if guys need an office to do step work, they need any of that. So like we really, when I built Guiding Road, my wife and I, we wanted it to be a hub for the recovery community. Yeah. So like if people need meeting space, if they need any of that, come over, get active over at Guiding Road. Coffee pot, we got the 3-burner bun. You know what time it is. Go make a pot of coffee. Go hear 5th step. Do your deal over here. So
do the deal.
Yeah. So we really we built it around the recovery community. We take them to solution-based meetings. We like meetings where guys are talking about what the solution is rather than just their misery and sorrow and putting the plug in the jug. I used to go to those ain't shit ass meetings blah, 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 my wife and this and that. And there's a space for that. Don't get me wrong, but I want to be around winners. I want to be around dudes who win the morning. I want to be around guys. I'm sorry. I'm not ashamed to say it. When I saw Estel's Platinum Amex, I wanted it. Yeah. Like I looked at it and I was like, it's not about the money. No, it's not. I stayed sober in the dish pit for 8 months and I let God bless me and lead me to where he went. But I'm unapologetic to my guys. Like this is something that I wanted. I wanted success. I wanted a ring on my finger. I wanted a child. I wanted all of these things. I wanted a healthy relationship. I wanted friends. I'm on a fucking podcast. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Like I wanted the whole thing. I didn't want part of it. And so at Guiding Road, we try to surround you around men that are going to help you get to whatever your dream is. And the recovery community's bought in, dude. We get after it.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's the biggest piece. And I look at all of our reviews and I see all that. There isn't a single review where anyone says, dude, the frisbee golf and the walking path was just touched my heart.
Transformed me.
Dude, you could have the shithole house, but have a team that gives a shit and connects with them. Dude, Johnny, I sponsored Johnny 2-3 years ago. Every single BHT, for the most part, is personal to me. Ron, we were friends 15 years in active addiction together.
Hell yeah.
When you said AJ, and now he works for you, and he would, dude, you can feel it. I already know you can feel it as soon as you walk in. Right. So if someone wants to feel it at Guiding Road, how do they find you guys?
You can call our hotline, guidingroad.com. You can find us on social, Facebook Guiding Road Recovery Center on IG. My number's out there. Find me.
Yeah, fine. Mark North, please find him. We utilize any opportunity that we can to coordinate care with Guiding Road. We've had great success with them. That's what I love the podcast for, so we can come on. There is plenty of options for everyone, whatever. Absolutely. You might not fit a residential. You might not be, and I don't care what anyone says. You might need a residential, but you can't fucking do it. Right? And that's okay. Your life doesn't give you the ability, but then you have some other options like IOP and PHP and virtual and all those things that Guiding Road offers. We need each other, dude.
Absolutely.
We absolutely need each other. So thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing your message. It is so great to meet you.
Absolutely.
And I get to make new friends. And I tell some people like yourself, everyone that I've had on the show has been phenomenal, right? But I always say to some people, I'm like, dude, I want to be your friend. If I had time to be friends and like have friends, like I like to be your friend.
Yeah,
you know?
right. But I'm busy as shit. But if I can squeeze a friend in there, you're going to be.
You would be one of them, dude.
That's awesome.
I put you in
Likewise,
there, dude.
brother.
You know, but
Appreciate you.
But it's hard, dude, because ultimately it comes down to that time component of it, dude, and where it's going with your time.
Dude, it's a monster. How do you manage it?
I struggle.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked you those questions. And that's why, you know, I can get up and say, yeah, I got the new car. Yeah, that shit does make me happy too. But I was the happiest I'd ever been with nothing, dude. And that's what recovery gave me. So the new cars and the credit scores and the houses and the trips, that's just fucking icing.
God, don't take it from either one of us, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just icing on the cake. It says leading up to the third step, being all powerful, he provided what you needed if you kept close to performers work well. Yeah, and we perform his work well. His work is to treat people kindly. Just help as many people as you can.
Right.
And if you do that, I'm going to bless the shit out of your life. And it just comes with a lot of other cool shit.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yes, dude. And it's that simple. And so if anyone is out there desperately in need, you have a loved one, you're listening to this, you're watching this, and you have that little bit of willingness, please reach out. Reach out to Guiding Road. Reach out to Desert Recovery Centers, desertrecoverycenters.com, Desert Recovery Centers on IG. It doesn't matter. We have scholarships at every location right now, earmuffs for my partners, right? But it doesn't matter your financial situation. If you're suffering from mental health, substance abuse, as you can see, we're all connected together with people who want to win, and we want to see you win. Absolutely. So if you're struggling, please reach out to any of us. Find Mark North, find Guiding Road, find Jason and Sarah. I'm not two people. Sarah's not my wife's name, but you'll always remember it sounds like Jason and Sarah. I'm one person, but I'll help you like I'm two. Please reach out to us, desertrecoverycenters.com. You can find us anywhere. You can find Guiding Road anywhere. We want to help you. Weekly episodes dropping. The amount of gratitude I have on my heart for all the listeners. I think we're in 31 or 32 countries now. Big shout out to everyone. Please, I love the comments, even the good ones. They all say I look like Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian. If you see that,
I won't be able to forget that.
If you see that, dude, Aaron, that's the comments I get, dude, all the time. But so much gratitude. Tune into the next show. Mark, thank you for your time today, man.
Thank you, buddy.
It's been an honor, dude, for having you on the show.
Appreciate you.